Üdvözlöm a hallgatóságot! Én Kőfej vagyok, és ebben a videóban a Bus Simulator 21 Next Step című játékkal fogok játszani. Ugye most kiadták az Epicen ingyenesen, és biztos rengeteg értelme lesz ezt megpróbálni. Ja, amúgy igen, ez is egy ilyen 200 epizódból álló hosszú sorozat lesz persze. Itt fontos elolvasni. Szóval, Privacy Notice. Privacy Policy Astrogation Entertainment GmbH. General Information. Thank you for your interest in our games and welcome. We are Astragon Entertainment GmbH and we're around 33D 40211, nem angol tanulok, Düsseldorf. You can reach us via info@astragon.de, nem tudom mit olvasok, már félreolvasom. Our aim, protecting your privacy is paramount to us. Therefore, compliance with the all legal provisions on data protection is fundamental for us. In addition, it is important to us that you know at all times which personal data we collect and why and how we process it. We will also be happy to explain to you what rights you have and how you can exercise them. What is personal data? In short, anything that identifies you as an individual, whether through the information itself or in connection with other information. Examples of this are your name, your email address, or your customer number, but also the time at which you started a multiplayer game when it's stored together with your IP address. We always try to collect as few personal identifiable information as possible, but we also like to inform you in details in this documentation about your personal data when we collect them. Why is this document so long? In regard to all personal data, we are recorded by to love describe you in detail what kind of personal data do we collect. Equals type of data equals type of data collected. Which law, rule or regulation allows to do so equals legal basis. Why we collect this data equals purpose of use. What exactly happens to your data equals type of processing. How long do we store your personal data? What rights you have with regard to your personal information? Rights of data subjects. We are required to list each step individually. That is the reason why this document is very comprehensive. Competent supervisory authority and company data protection officer. Responsible in terms of the European General Data Protection Regulation GDPR RV, Astragon Entertainment GmbH, wherein 33D kötőjel 4020, nem tudom miért mondanak D-boy számot, Düsseldorf, info@astragon.de. Telefon +49 0 211 5405 15 kötőjel 0. Telefax +49 0 211 5405 15 kötőjel 18. For all data protection inquiries, please contact our company data protection office. Contact details: Daten Schulz Kukas Astragon.de. Benjamin Wolf. Legal basis: we collect and process personal data on the basis of the current European law. The following legal basis can be found in the General Data Protection Regulation GDPR, depending on the purpose of the data collection. One or more of the following legal bases apply. The data subject has to give a consent to the processing of his or her personal data as referred to in Art. 6.1a. General Data Protection Regulation GDPR. Consent is an expression of will. This can be done in writing in a form of a statement or with another clearly affirmative action. Either way, the consent must be voluntarily applied to a specific case and must clearly state that the data subject agrees to the processing of his or her respective personal data. For the purpose, the data subject must be sufficiently informed and understand and the consent. Processing is necessary for the performance of a contract prior entering into a contract as referred to in Art 6.1b GDPR. That means the data is required so that we can fully fill our contract to an obligation toward, or we need the data to prepare contact with you. Processing is necessary for compliance with a legal obligation as referred to in Art 6c GDPR. That means, for example, we are required by the law or the regulation to process the data. Processing is necessary for the purposes of legitimate interest as referred to in Art 6.1f GDPR. That means the processing of data is necessary to protect the legitimate interests of us or third parties, unless your interests or fundamental rights are and freedom that require the protection of personal data is prevail. Rights of the data subject. When it comes to your personal data, you are the data subject. You are entitled to the following rights with regard to the data purchased by us in accordance with the articles of the General Data Protection Regulation referred to in each case. Rights of access by the data subject as referred to in Art 5.50 GDPR. Right to certification as referred to in Art 60 GDPR. Right to erasure. Right to be forgotten as referred to in Art 17 GDPR. Right to restriction of processing as referred to in Art 18 GDPR. Right to data portability as referred to in Art 20 GDPR. Right to object as referred to in Art 21 GDPR. Without prejudice to any other administrative or judicial remedy, you have the right to lodge a complaint with a supervisory authority. Mennyi az idő? Még van idő. Olvasom tovább. Supervisory authority in particular with the EU member state of your place of residence, place of work or place of alleged infringement. If you believe that the processing of your personal data violates the GDPR, data erasure and storage time. Personal data must be erased if they are no longer necessary in relation to the purposes for which they were collected or otherwise processed. In addition, storage may take place if provided for by the European or national legislator in the EU regulations, laws or other regulations to which the controller is subject. The data will also be blocked or erased if a storage period required by the aforementioned standard expires, unless there is a need for further storage of the data for the conclusion or fulfillment of a contract. Specific data processing. Google Analytics 8. Scope of data processing. The website and organisms use Google Analytics, a web analytics service provided by Google Ireland Ltd. Google. This software collects information about how you use the website, but also how you use our game and complies various statistics. The increased usage data include in particular the concrete selection of links, the length of stay or individual pages, and the order of use the website and the frequency of the page request. The data is collected together with your IP address. In particular, the following information is collected: information about the type browser and the version used, the operating system of the user, the user's internet service provider, the IP address of the user, date and time of access, websites which the user's system accesses your websites that are accessed by the user system via our website. Google Analytics uses so-called cookies, text files that are stored on your computer and that will allow an analysis of the use of the website by you. The information generated by cookies about your use of this website is usually transmitted to a Google service in the USA and stored here. We have activated a so-called IP anonymization on the website. This means that the IP address will be shortened beforehand by Google within member states of the European Union or in the other contracting states of the agreement on the European Economic Area prior to transmission to the USA. Only exceptional cases will the full IP address will be sent to a Google server in the US and shortened there. Google itself describes her https különböző jelek www.google.com. Az a jel, amit nem tudom, hogy angolul hogy van, policies, már megint az a jel, privacy, megint az a jel, is data processing activity. The data processing is essentially carried out by Google itself. Despite IP anonymization, the data is not anonymous and can be merged with other. What? Nyanyi? Mi történt? Oké, megjegyeztem. Van, akit érdekes dolog. Data by the Google. Google can use the data for any of its own purposes such as profiling, as well as link it with other data such as any Google accounts, and also pass it on to associated US companies e.g.google LLC. Van egy ilyen érzés, ami ezt nem így kéne olvasnom. B. Legal basis. The legal basis for the processing of data when using the website is Article 6 para.1 H GDPR in the form of your express consent. The legal basis for the transfer of data is Google Art 26, nem tudom, GDPR, and, vagy akkor mondom úgy, hogy 26, ha úgy jobb. And Art.6 para.1 H GDPR for any sub-processing done by Google outside of the EU. Google employs the standard construction clauses of the EU Commission. C. Purpose of the data processing. The purpose of the processing is to analyze the website and the usage behavior of its visitors. The duration of storage. We ourselves no longer have access to personal data after anonymization by Google. With regard to use by Google, the duration of the storage is not known. H. Possibility of objection and deletion. You can prevent the storage of cookies, including the generation and transmission of data by Google by restricting or prohibiting the use of by prohibiting the use of cookies in your browser software. This may result in the deactivation of non-Google related cookies, as well as the inability to other function of the website, this website to the full extent. You can prevent the collection of the data generated by the cookie regarding use, including your IP address, and their transmission to Google, as well as the processing of this data by Google by downloading the browser plugin available under the following link and to install http tools.google.com dlp gauptut kérdőjel HL egyenlő, de meg mindenféle jel, amit nem olvastam fel. In addition, you can also revoke your consent to data. Lehet revokolni. Hát akkor itt megy a revokolás. Na, remek. Úgy néz ki, nem feltétlenül kell örökké beadni. Még már feljebb leírták, de mindegy. Szóval, your consent the data collection at any time in our cookie bar for this mindegy. Purpose. A cookie is then stored so that we can recognize that you have not consented the use of Google Analytics. Use of Epic. To play our game, the use of the Epic service of Epic Games Inch that 2600 Crossroads BLVD that carry NC USA Epic Games in zárójelben volt, and the prior conclusion of a user agreement are required. Epic itself collects personal data while this user's agreement we have no access to this data. With regard to the collection and of data by Epic Games Inc. We therefore refer to Epic's user agreement and data protection declaration. Save data in multiplayer. H. Scope of data processing. If you play the game in multiplayer, your saved data will be stored online on a server operated by Amazon Web Services. The saved data also contain your Epic ID, E.H. The customer number, the customer number assigned to you by Epic and your Epic username. In addition to the current progress in the game, the save data also contains chat logs, the content of conversation they have had with other players. B. Legal basis. The legal basis of the processing of data is Art 6.1b and A. GDPR. The legal basis for storing the data with the hosting service provider Amazon Web Services is Art 28.3. GDPR. The game cannot be used without the corresponding consent. C. Purpose of the data processing. The purpose of the data storage is to provide secure storage of the saved data both with regard to data loss at the customer. The possibility for each computer to use its own saved data and the protection of the saved data against manipulation. D. Duration of storage. The data will be stored until you decide to delete the saved data. This can be done directly in the game in the save data menu. Wow, tutorial kezdődnek. E. Possibility of objection and deletion. The user may always delete the saved data in the save data menu of the game. Local storage without using our servers is not possible for data security reasons. The game cannot be used without consent to its storage on our servers. In-game use. When contacting our servers to retrieve news, your IP address will be collected solely for the purpose of performing the communication and will not be stored. This is done by our hosting provider Amazon Web Services on the basis of order processing according to Art 28.3 GDPR. The legal basis for this is Art 6.1. Lit that B or F GDPR E legitimate interest or the fully film. Ott nem kellett volna két pont amúgy? Halló? Fulfillment of fulfillment of contractual relationships with you. Milyen remélem a végén nem végén nem kezdődik el a Naruto Daijinshi, amit nemrég láttam, amúgy nem láttam, eskü nem. With you. The legitimate interest is to inform you about news about the product. A right of objection does not exist since the registration is technically conditioned, and without this the communication process will not be possible. Backtrace I per O. We use backtrace I per O Dreisekund 5 Dreisekund 500 7th Suite 800 New York and Epsilon 10018 USA to help us gather information from the game, which helps us finding and fixing issues with the game. This information is not personal and cannot be used to identify you. The tool gathers crash logs, so-called mini-dams, that contain the memory around the crashing code point. Igen, az is zárójelben volt, hogy in the background and directly sends it to a server at the backtrace I per O after you approve the sending. Their information will be used to merge it in our bug database and fix the crash, and then the information will be deleted. Also, the transfer does not store any personal information for the transmission. The IP address might be temporarily processed. The actual sending of the crash log can always be defined in the pop-up window after a crash occurred. Close without sending, send and close, send and restart. HTTPS jelek, backtrace.io jel, privacy _policy jel. In-game bug reporter. The in-game bug reporter can be found in the pause menu of the game labeled send us feedback can be used to send us bugs reports directly from within the game. Those bug tickets are directly sent to our bug database and can be accessed by our developers to fix the corresponding bug. All the information you enter into this ticket from will be assessed and used to fix the issue. The automatically attached information, if you send it, are as follows. Screenshot of the current situation in game, that hardware O vagy 0, nem tudom, CPU data, megint ez a O per 0, GPU data, that name of the loaded map, that player position inside the level. After working on the issue, all your information will be deleted. If you do not add any personal information yourself, the gathered information is strictly game related and does not contain anything to identify you. Mud.io. We offer the possibility to access modified assets in our game. However, these are not offered by us, but the third-party provider mod.io. PyT, ja tényleg akkor nem is kellett mondottam, pont az a két pont, amit ott előbb mondtam, na mindegy. PyT Ltd. That. You can access the mod IO shop via an interface in the game and acquire mods for our game there. This requires a separate account and a construct with mod.io to install mod. Ja, nem az nem egy, na mindegy. Vagy nem mindegy, az sem amúgy, na mindegy. With mod.io. To install mods, you need an account in the mods database. HTTPS /mod.io /. There you can access and download any mods that have already been created or create and upload new ones that do not violate or the platform's guidelines. When you select the interface in the game, you will be redirected to the mod.io website. We do not provide mod.io with any personal data. To what extent the use of mod.io collects personal data can be found there. Here, https jelek mod.io jel privacy. És kérek egy perc csendet, kérlek titeket. Hallgatóság, szóval igazából a videó ezen pontján akár már ilyen vágatlan, cenzúrázatlan jeleneteket is betetnék, mert valószínűleg senki nem nézni. Ha pedig te nézed, akkor kérdeznék tőled valamit. Megérte ez neked? Bár én ki tudja, igazából technikailag azt el kéne olvasnod mindig. Ja, itt a vége, látjátok? Ilyen. Most pedig tudjátok, mi következik.